Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Myles. Now, today I want to slow stuff down a little bit. I'm out here talking about $50,000 bonuses from Dana White. I'm out here talking about just spending $250,000 and investing that. And I just wanted to slow things down for a little bit and actually go back to the days when I was broke as a joke, when I was living in somebody's front room, when I was sleeping on couches, and when I was hustling and I was on the come up. In 2012, this was me. This was me. I had no money in my pocket. I had no assets. I never invested at this time. I wasn't in the UFC. So this time, man, I was down and out and I was on the come up. I had no money and I literally had nobody paying my way at all in 2012. I was a kid from Hazel Park, Michigan, on the come up, training, fighting on smaller shows. And literally one day I came out to San Diego and I loved it out here. I was training out here and I started staying with a friend and on his couch. And that was me in 2012. I had no money in the bank. It wasn't like I was just like, oh, I'm going to be an investor. I'm going to be a millionaire or anything like that. Fast forward to nowadays, man, I've had 14 plus fights in the UFC. I've had 2 seasons of The Ultimate Fighter. I have a real estate portfolio right now valued at over $2 million. On top of that, I've had bonuses given to me by Dana White. I've had 6-figure paydays and one night fighting. So a lot has changed from 2012 to now 2020. And I just wanted to talk about today, what are some things that I did along the way to help me go from like being a fighter to being an investor. And it's my hope today that you guys get something out of this and you kind of start to see that not everything is always as crystal clear as you think. 10 years ago I wouldn't have been like, oh, I'm going to be an investor. But along the way I made some choices and I took some responsibility over my finances, and now fast forward, I'm in a great position, a lot better position financially. So I want to touch on that today, and I actually want to make sure you guys stick around to the whole video because I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips of how maybe one day you're thinking right now that, man, maybe I want to get into investing, or maybe I want to, get a little bit better control over my finances. So I'm going to give you guys some tips towards the end of this video. Make sure to stick around. Now, back in the day when I was broke as a joke, the first thing that I would always do is just smash that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button right there. That was that first step that I would always do. Even though I was broke and I was on the come up, I would always smash that thumbs up button and the subscribe button. So why did I start investing? That's the main important ingredient in this whole scenario. Why? Your why is the most powerful thing in the world. And growing up, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have anybody taking care of me. And I realized that at a young age. I was like, man, I'm not going to have, mom and dad aren't going to take care of me financially. The government ain't going to take care of me financially. I didn't have a girlfriend, but if I had a girlfriend, I wasn't expecting her to take care of me financially. So I took responsibility, like, man, if I'm going to be okay financially, I need to do it. It's on me. So even though at this time I wasn't in a place where I was a millionaire, or I wasn't in a place where I was like well off financially, I knew that even though I was broke, I could still become that person that was good financially. I could become that person that was investing, and that person that didn't have to worry about money, that had enough money coming in every month to be happy and to live the life that they wanted to live. I knew, and I left that opening in my mind that said, hey, you can do it, Myles. Even though you're not there right now, you can do it. And that's what we call a growth mindset. It's an open mindset. I'm not fixed on anything. I'm not sitting here going, I'm broke right now, so I'm going to stay broke. No, I might be broke right now, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make stuff happen. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. And one day I'm going to be financially set. I'm going to be an investor. A big reason why I started getting into investing and why I chose to start investing is that I seen other people that were financially well off, people that weren't worried about money, people that had enough money coming in, people that weren't complaining about bills. They were just financially well off. And I was like, man, they're doing it. How are they doing it? How are they financially well off? Like, what are they doing? And I started learning, I started studying, and I realized that all successful people financially, they invest. They really do. They understand how money works. They understand where to put their money. They understand how to protect their money. And they understand how to make money. So that was kind of like the stuff that started getting my mind to tick. I was just like, they do it. Even though I'm not there yet, I know I can still do it, because if he's doing it, I can do it, and that's for sure. And that's my hope sometimes when you guys watch these videos, is if you get nothing else from it, is if you see somebody like myself who literally came from sleeping on the front room, who was in 2012. I mean, I was, when I went on the Ultimate Fighter, I had no money. Like literally, I basically was just teaching at a gym, making 100, 150 bucks a week, just enough to be able to train full time, have money for food, and just be able to survive. So if you see somebody like me who comes from that, and then you fast forward and I can be in a position now where, I mean, I own millions of dollars in real estate. I have enough money coming in every month to be financially free. I'm literally living my dream. And if you see me doing it, trust me, you can do it yourself. And that's my hope with these videos. In 2012, when I got signed with the UFC, I finally started making some type of money. If you've looked at my videos about how much money I made my first UFC fight, how much money I made my second UFC fight, you'll realize that it wasn't a crazy amount of money, but it's still, at the end of the day, it was money coming in compared to not having any of it before. So if you haven't checked those videos out, make sure to check them out. So I started making money, and this kind of led me to see, like, man, I'm making money. Now is my opportunity. I knew that this money coming in, it's not going to be there forever. So that's when I started learning. And I literally, after the Ultimate Fighter, I came back home to San Diego, and I went to a used bookstore down the street from where I live. It's Pennywise Bookstore. Anybody that's in San Diego is going to know it. And I picked up a Robert Kiyosaki book. Randomly went in there. I just wanted to grab a book on financial education, on finances, anything on investing. So anything with that title I was just looking for. And I heard of Robert Kiyosaki. I read his book when I was younger, Rich Dad Poor Dad. But I picked this book up in this store, Rich Dad Poor Dad again, and I said, wow, I want to read this. I started reading it, and I was like, man, this is exactly what I'm looking to do. All this stuff that he talked about, from, rich people don't work for money, and that, money is created in the mind. All these different things that I started learning in this book, I started saying, man, I need to start implementing these things, and I need to start really taking them in. And that's where it all started, is this with that first book. From that learning, that gave me the motivation, that gave me the confidence to continue on my journey to investing. I'll put the link to the book down below. Check it out if anybody hasn't already. It's a great book. It gets you in that right mindset for investing. And that's what I really was doing at this time. I was creating my mind, getting my mind ready for investing. So you start adding all these things up. What was happening in my life in 2012? I was broke and I was tired of it. I took responsibility that nobody else was gonna pay my way. I had to learn. I had to figure out how to be a man with my money. You add in the fact that I knew and I seen other people being financially successful, and I just was like, man, I'm gonna do it. I make that choice. I'm taking responsibility to learn and figure it out. That was my why. I was tired of being broke. I wanted to have money coming in, and you put those two together, that's a powerful why, and that drove me over these past 8 years to build this real estate portfolio. It drove me to be smart with the money that I was making. It drove me to literally be an investor, to create a portfolio. And without that why, I could have never done it. So let's talk about a couple of things that can really help you out. That's the main goal of these videos, is to help you guys out. I'm going to be doing some courses, and I'm going to make a course eventually on investing, how to get into investing. And until then, though, I want to still just keep giving great information to you guys, and just keep trying to help and serve you guys the best way that I can. So let's talk about 3 things that you can do right now that isn't going to cost you anything. Well, it might cost you something, but it's not going to cost you anything crazy that you cannot afford. So the first thing that you can do is you can start learning. This is what it all starts with, financial education. This your mind is your most powerful asset. Right? At this channel, we talk a lot about assets, liabilities, income, expenses. Talk a lot about fighting, mixed martial arts. The best of both worlds, right? Money and MMA. So your mind is your biggest asset, and the quicker you can start learning and learning about finances and learning about investing, the better. You can start picking up books like, the Rich Dad Poor Dad, the Robert Kiyosaki book I was just talking about. You can go on YouTube, watch videos like this. There's amazing how many great YouTube creators there is out there that talk about investing, that actually do it, and that actually will give you great information, great motivation to get you started. I mean, heck, at the end of the day, there was times in my investing journey that I would literally be like, man, I feel like I'm a lone ranger out here. Like nobody else, everybody's out blowing their money. Everybody's got nice cars, fancy jewelry, and here I am trying to save up money to buy a house that isn't sexy at all. To me, it was sexy, but to everybody else, it's not. And I'm just like, man, what the heck? Am I the only person out there? But sometimes when I felt that way, I would get on YouTube and I would go look up guys like Stephen Graham. I would look up guys like Morris Invest. And I would go and I would watch them and I would literally feel like I'm sitting there with them. Like they're my friends, they're part of my team. And they would motivate me to keep going, to keep saving, to keep stacking my money and buying investments. And that's powerful. On top of that, man, I would learn such good information from them that I would implement that into my investing strategy. So that all goes back to just filling up your mind with great education about finances, about investing, real estate, stocks, balance sheets, assets, liabilities, insurances, like all these different things that come around in the investment world. You have to learn about them. And that's where it starts, is right here in the mind. The next thing you can do right now is start saving your money. Seriously, that's one of the biggest disciplines, the biggest parts about investing in money in general, is to have the discipline to save that money. Trust me, whether you're saving $10,000 or $10 million, it's the same discipline. No matter what, it's the same discipline. So if you can start saving money on a smaller scale, trust me, when you start making more money and more money's coming in, you're going to have those muscles to save even more money. So that's the important part. Start working now on saving money. Trust me, it's not always easy, right? Sometimes you want to go buy that luxury. You want to go bigger house, fancier car, a vacation, fancy clothes, but trust me, save your money. That's where it starts. That's going to be that first step of seeing if you can get into investing. If you can save your money, stack it up, that's going to be your entry. That's going to be your ticket into the world of investing. And at the end of the day, it doesn't cost money to save money, right? It's money coming in. It's just discipline. You have that money regardless. So instead of blowing it, just save it. That's a big step. Make sure you save it. Now the third step that I would recommend is this is when you get to a position that you feel comfortable, you've educated yourself, you've been studying, you've been talking to mentors, reading books, watching videos, you've been learning, getting your financial education up, at the same time you've been saving your money, stacking your money. Now the third step is to actually get in the game. Start investing. Maybe you're going to go buy a stock of Amazon, right? There you go. That's a start. You're starting to invest. Maybe you're going to go put down some money on a down payment on a rental property. There you go, right? You know me, I love real estate. So that's what I'm talking about. Start it up. You can sit back and learn and think and fantasize and dream about whatever you want. But the rubber hits the road when you actually get in the game and actually put your money into something and start investing. Now, maybe you're still scared. Maybe you're like, man, I want to do it, but I don't want to lose my money, which is a great question to ask, right? You always want to make sure your money's protected. With investing, there is always some type of a risk, so chances are you're not ever going to have a guarantee on your money. But there are some things you can do besides investing your money. You can go and you can play Monopoly. You'll get a lot of education out of that. Robert Kiyosaki has a cash flow board game, which is literally like investing. You get to practice investing, but you don't have to risk losing any of your own money. It's just play money. So that's another option to get you started, get you in the game of investing. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, you can practice all you want, but you still got to get in the game. You still got to get after it and get out there and start investing. So that's it. I mean, I came from a kid that 2012, 8 years ago, I was broke as a joke, to now having 14 plus fights in the UFC, to having millions of dollars invested, $1 million portfolio. And I'm super happy I did it. And it all started with those steps. My why did I want to do it? Without that, I would have never gotten this far. And it started with getting educated, saving my money, and getting in the game and starting to invest. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Are you going to get in the game? Are you going to start educating yourself? Let me know. Until next time.